All right, welcome back, mathematicians. Here is another example of a type of question you are going to see involving Pythagorean theorem. So here we've got a diagram. So let's read what it says. It says the diagram below shows the side view of a ramp used to help load and unload a moving van. So here is my diagram showing that side view of the ramp. And if I look at this diagram, oh my goodness, look what it forms. It forms a right triangle. How do we know it's a right triangle? Because we've got this little square in the corner here, right? That's a right angle. That's a 90-degree angle. All right. So we've got a right triangle. It says which measurement is closest to the length of the ramp in feet. So we want to find this distance right here, right? Well, thanks to Sir Pythagoras, we can now do that with our Pythagorean theorem. So the Pythagorean theorem, remember, it says a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Okay, so the first thing we want to do when we have our triangle is we need to first identify our hypotenuse. Remember, your hypotenuse is the longest side on your right triangle. It is also the side that is opposite your right angle. So if you go to your right angle and you draw an arrow that points away from that right angle, that arrow will point directly to your hypotenuse. So here's my hypotenuse here, right? So I have a leg here. We'll call this leg A. I have a leg here. We'll call this leg B. And then I have my hypotenuse, okay, which is the side opposite my right angle. Okay, and again, to find your hypotenuse, always locate your right angle and just draw an arrow pointing away from your right angle. It will always point directly towards your hypotenuse. So I've got A, B, and C. So now let's plug in what information it gives us into our equation. So for A squared, well, I know A is 3 feet, right? So I'm going to plug that in for A. So 3 squared plus B squared. Well, B, it's telling me is 9, right? So 9 squared is equal to C squared, right? We don't know C. That's what we're solving for. So we're going to use our variable C. All right, so now we got to do a little bit of math. So now I need to square both my legs. Well, I know 3 squared is 9. I know 9 squared is 81 is equal to C squared. All right, so now let's add 9 plus 81. Well, I know 9 plus 81 is 90, which is equal to C squared. Now, we're not done yet. We know what C squared is, right? We want to know what C is equal to, right? I want to know what just one C is equal to. So in order to do that, remember, think back to how we solve equations. We solve equations by doing the opposite, right? So to find out what C is, I need to do the opposite of squaring a number. Well, I know the opposite of squaring a number is taking the square root, okay? The square root is the opposite of squaring a number, okay? So if I go to my calculator, I'm going to take out my calculator because I can't do that in my head. If I take the square root of 90, I get 9.486, and it keeps going. So I'm going to stop right there. All right. So the question is asking which measurement is closest to the length of the ramp in feet. And if I look, all my answer choices are rounded to the nearest tenth. Okay, so if I have this 9.486, if I round to the nearest tenth, that 4 is going to round up and give me 9.5. So what is this length? 9.5 feet.